Hey everyone, welcome back. We're back. Welcome back to the More Than Before Marriage podcast. I'm Nathan.
And I'm Willow.
And this is the podcast. This is as good as it's going to get. We're excited to spend some time with you guys, giving you a little bit of an update what's been going on in our world and what we've been learning and how we've been stuttering. I've been stuttering a lot lately.
Too much to say. No, all wants to come out at once. Word vomit.
It doesn't all want to come out at once. I mean, most of it wants to come out at once, but yeah, we have had a super busy past a week.
Yeah, I was just thinking, it's Thursday already? Is it Friday already? Is it
What
Wednesday?
day is
Is
it?
it Saturday?
As married folk, you don't even know what day it is half the time.
Right, I know, exactly. What day is it?
Yeah.
Well, I was trying to think of like, okay, what day of the week is it? I have no idea what we were doing a week ago. But yeah, as I started doing that, it's been like, okay, we've been busy. So last week we had our kids do a new gymnastics class.
Which is exciting and horrible all at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't have your kids become good at a sport because then they keep having to move to different classes.
Yes, and change times, and then they're busy, and then their classes are longer.
There is an awareness piece with that we've had to learn with our kids, though, is we've had to understand what their giftings are.
Right.
Because you want your kids to be good at everything that you put in front of them. But I mean, and it's not like they are good right away, right? You're never good the first time, but you want them to develop skills. And when they don't start developing skills after a while, you have to start asking yourself, is this the right thing we should be putting our child in?
Right, exactly.
And that's definitely one of the conversations that we had to have this last week.
Well, it's good because that is like a conversation that we need to have, like husband and wife need to have, or parent needs to have about what choices they're going to make for their kids of like, okay, is this best for them? Is this a strength or something that they should continue or not? Even when they're young, they can do things for fun, of course, obviously, but It does get to a point where it's like, okay, would you just have more fun doing something else?
Has that been surprising to you? We have 4 kids, and one of the ones that I'm thinking of is the first child that we know of is probably not going to be the greatest at sports. I mean, is that surprising to you at all?
That the sport is not the forte.
Sport is not strong with this one?
No, not surprising, but it's okay. That's why we didn't originally put said child in the sports for that reason. We put said child in the sports for the balance and like...
I appreciate you calling it said child. Said child did this and shed child.
Shed child.
That could get really bad really fast.
Yes.
Another thing that we were doing this last week is we did Sailah's baby dedication, which was exciting.
Yeah.
And I don't know, what was that like for you compared to like all the other kids? Do you remember any of the other kids?
I vaguely remember the other kids, yes. It was different for me this time for a couple reasons that I don't want to say out loud.
Oh, pray tell.
No,
we're going to get it all out of the podcast.
There was, Sailah had a lot of health. She didn't have a lot of health issues. We had some scares with her. So early on, we had some scares with her. So as the prayers were being prayed, my mind went into fear mode of, and then there was some other silly moments of like, she started talking and I was like, and he was like saying, oh, and I hope that she praises God all of her life. And she was talking. I'm like, oh, she's singing to God right now. And that was pretty cute.
It was funny because I was looking at her. I was like trying to make faces at her and she was not having it whatsoever. Like she was actually starting to get super upset. But it is interesting. One of the things I think it's important that we do, and I think you can kind of do it at any point, but we've chosen to do it, especially early on, but to cover your kids in prayer and make sure you dedicate them to the Lord. Like, do you think about your children in the way that you're parenting them in a way that you go, okay, this is God's kid. I'm taking care of God's kid. Kind of what we were talking about last week of the idea of stewardship. We're stewarding our children for the Lord. And so, one of those things that we can do, I think, really well, or we can actually do poorly is giving our kids to the Lord. And remembering at the end of the day, I think this is a tough thing for you. I think for most moms, remembering that the Lord is the one that watches over your kids. He has their best in mind, but you are the steward of that child, right? Right,
exactly. Yeah, and that's kind of a hard thing to have on your shoulders, or like even just acknowledge of, okay,
yeah,
they're just gifts right now. Or they're always, but yeah.
Yeah. And then there was another big thing that happened this weekend. Do you remember what it was?
Well, grandma and grandpa came to visit.
Well, that's a lot. That's a mouthful. Yeah, they came to visit. But there was something else that was really important that day.
Oh, it was Father's Day.
It was Father's Day. Thank you very much. It was my day. Father Day.
It was Daddy's Day.
It was Daddy's Day. It was a good day.
It was a good day.
Yeah, it was a good day. It was cute because Rylan kept trying to give me cards like throughout the week. They're like, God, Daddy, I'm making you something.
Yeah.
Like, you're not supposed to tell me until the day actually happens. But it was a nice day. I'd like to say it was laid back, but there was just a lot of stuff that was going on.
I had to do my CE, which is due.
She had to do all of her CE for how long do you?
2 years to do 30 hours, which is like, okay, come on, that's not that much. But when you have to do it in the last month, it's like, yeah, here we go.
Yeah, Miss Planner is not trying to plan it out here. Are you going to start CE for next year now?
Probably. I said that last time and that didn't happen. I was like, okay, I need a break. And then here we go, 2 years later.
And it was funny too, because the previous years you were like, yeah, I'm going to start my CE early. And you actually started like at least a few months early. And so like you had like 19 hours or something like that.
Yeah,
this year,
I had nothing.
You saved it all for the end.
Well, it was stupid because I was like, okay, I'm going to be on maternity leave, so I'll have some time to get it done. Nope. And then we moved. Nope. And then we didn't even have like a computer or anything to do it. Nope. And so here we are.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to Father's Day, I don't know about you guys. By the way, if any fathers are actually listening to this, I would be curious too. How many of you actually like Father's Day? I don't really like Father's Day.
Why not?
I don't know. I don't. I feel, well, okay, I like it and I don't like it. I like it in the fact that it recognizes dads. I think that's an important thing that I think a lot of culture and society, we don't do that anymore. Like, it was really surprising because we kind of got a little mention from it when we were at church, but not really a whole lot.
Not too much.
I was surprised by that.
Yeah.
Usually Mother's Day, it's like, oh, moms, and we're getting you gift cards and we're giving you chocolate, flowers, and all those things. And you don't have to do that for, dads, but I think it is important for, especially dads that are doing their best to help.
Yeah.
That are, how many dads do we have nowadays that just, they bail, they fail, they drop out of the picture. And what do we do to the guys that are actually still there, or the guys that step up into the picture, for blended families and whatnot? We completely forget about celebrating them. I actually saw a post about thinking about all of you single moms that are also being dads out there. And I was like, ugh, man, horrible. Like, it's not about, like, we have a whole day for moms. Both are completely important to have.
Yeah, and there are single mom families and there's single dad families, and that's there's always the exception of like different circumstances. So
yeah. So I don't know. It was I like Father's Day and the fact of having the recognition, but at the same time, I don't need gifts. I don't need those kinds of things. I feel like as a guy, I think most guys are like, yeah, this is just kind of what we're supposed to do. But just because I say that doesn't mean that we don't like being seen for the hard work that we do, whether that's work or working in the family of doing things or trying to lead. So it was a good Father's Day. But I'm excited for as the kids get older, as they hopefully remember Father's Day. Yeah. So one of the big things this week, though, Willow did talk about it, was doing the CE or continued education, which, is really funny because you are so on top of everything. It just seems so out of this world that that's something that is not necessarily something you're structured on top of.
Yeah. Normally, I think it wouldn't be the case. And I say normally the past few years.
Yeah.
It just has kind of been like on the back burner a little bit more.
Yeah.
As life has kind of happened.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, there were a lot of different interesting things this last week. I think even though everything was busy, one of the things that we really tried to do was we tried to connect, and not just connect and talk, but also connect and learn together. I think that's kind of what my main thing is for today. And I don't know if you would agree with that, is even though things were busy, we tried to find time to connect and to listen and to grow together. In fact, we were listening to a book called 10X is Easier Than 2X. And it was good because it definitely challenged both of us in the way it challenged me. I don't know. How did it challenge you? Do you remember anything about the book?
Yeah. I mean, I think it challenged me to think from a different perspective and see things differently, which is always good and challenging, because even like in our relationship, if you see something different than the way that I see it, it's good to be able to not just be, only in your lane and see one thing this way and not see it from somebody else's perspective. So
yeah, I think one of the big takeaways from, because we were listening to it on tape, we weren't like sitting there reading the book together.
Yeah.
But we were listening to it, sitting out in our zero gravity chairs, which is nice to, it's weird because, we didn't have a yard before and now we're sitting in our zero gravity chairs outside being able to see like the sky, which is strange to me.
So nice.
But one of the big challenges that I kept facing was this idea of you got to think big, like astronomically big, something that is so big and so out there that it disrupts the way that you live your life. It makes you question of going, okay, so what will we have to do in order to get to this particular point? And so that has been something that you and I have both been kind of focusing on and wrestling with of what does this look like in this next stage of my business? And I think that's an important thing as spouses is, do we challenge each other's vision, not to be smaller, but to be bigger, to get us to think outside of the box? And one of the reasons I say that is because in the book, it talks about this idea that if you only focus on 2x, if you're only focused on small micro changes, it never gets you out of the current mind frame that you're in. Everything, I've said this on my podcast, is that everything that you see around you right now has been created. It's essentially come to fruition because of the way that you think. And so if you don't challenge the way that you think, nothing ever changes.
Right.
You get in that cycle. Mm-hmm. And so that's been something that's been really interesting to me. And one of the main takeaways from that is, what are you sacrificing? What are you sacrificing right now in your family in large strides to make your family bigger or better, to be more present? What are the things that stretch you to get to that next echelon within your relationship with your spouse? And so I've kind of been thinking about this. There have been things that I've stepped back from, over the course of the last, even just the past couple months, of just saying no to different volunteering opportunities, saying no to different gatherings and those kinds of things. And those have been to focus on family. And now I'm looking at it and I'm going, oh gosh, now we need to do another reiteration of this. Mm-hmm. Obviously still keeping family intact, but now I'm having to look at, business wise, of what am I going to be doing? How am I going to be spending my time to make sure that we can make a huge change, hopefully in the near future, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that kind of impacts, your marriage relationship, right? And it's like a sacrifice of going back and forth with each other, because somebody may need to sacrifice something for a little bit and then the other one may need to. And it's kind of being able to have those conversations and work on things of like, okay, let's make sacrifices together and be willing to do that and be able to have the conversation too.
It's hard too, because it's sacrifice on both ends, right? Because if you have one spouse that's working on their business and wanting to grow it and the other spouse is supporting it, there's going to be a push and pull, like a conversation that we're going to have, surprise, just telling you now. But a conversation that we're going to have is, what does it look like for Willow to take more responsibility of watching the kids during the day? What is it going to look like if we have to get a nanny or someone to come and watch the kids, hopefully for a short period of time, so that I can ramp up my business to a place where hopefully Willow can step away from hers. And that's challenging, because it's a pretty big shift from one thing to the next. Yep. But it's a conversation that you have to have. And, I might be throwing, Willow out there right now, but I'm curious for you, as you hear me saying that, and you already know the difficulties of our kids and the difficulty of life and having everything going on. What's the thing that kind of goes through your mind when you start hearing me saying, okay, let's shake things up. Let's really, make a huge change in our life to kind of get to that next step?
Well, two things that come to mind are obviously things are like financially, that's always something in a marriage that you have to deal with, right? So it's either, okay, take a big leap of faith and cut finances and then just trust. And that gives more time for you to be able to work on businesses. Or the other part is also financial of, okay, if we need more help, what can we need help with? Like, do we need to pay, like you just mentioned, a nanny or someone to clean? Or is it even simple things like a different meal type situation? Are we going to be doing those? Like, what do there's the meal prep boxes that they send you. Anyways, I don't know.
We're not doing the meal prep boxes, but
something like
and it's interesting though, because one of the main concepts of the book is you need to specialize. You need to focus in a specific thing and do one thing really, really well to stand out. Mm-hmm. And I love trying new things. I love doing new things. And that's my kryptonite, right? Like I loved learning how to make espresso with the coffee machine. I loved learning how to make the sourdough bread, which by the way, I haven't told you, I think I'm going to be stepping back from doing the sourdough bread.
My heart. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Sorry for all of you that I've been making loaves for. Looks like you're going to be going dry for a bit.
You're going to have to get my loaves.
You're going to have to get Willow's loaves. And then you're really going to want my loaves back. No, Willow makes really good bread. But it's one of those things of when you start looking at the capacity that you have in life, and as a couple, are you willing to make changes and hard changes in order to make room for new opportunity, right? Because we've talked about that too, is you want to make things welcome in your life. Are you making the things that you want in your marriage welcome? And it was really funny. I didn't tell you this today, but Rylan came out of her bedroom and she was snuggling with me in the chair. And she said, Daddy, I want to have a garage sale. I said, why do you want to have a garage sale? She said, I have a lot of toys. I want to get rid of some of my toys. Oh. I was shocked. I was shocked. And I was like, let's get that cardboard box out right now. We're going to throw all the toys in it.
Pick them out, girl.
All those toys that Grandma and Grandpa just gave. Just kidding, Mom and Dad. Mom and Dad, listen to this. But it is one of those things that looking around, even in our life, like I was cleaning the garage this last weekend, and as I was going through things, I saw small little pieces of memorabilia that I've had over the years. Like I have my Letterman jacket still and all those things. And I'm like, why do I have these things? Mm-hmm. Like my daughter is never going to put this jacket. I mean, she might put it on once and, oh, this is cool, Dad. And then she'll be done with it forever. My boys are not going to ever wear my Letterman jacket. There's no reason for it. And what do I think? What was I thinking of this last week? I was thinking, man, I'm pretty sure that thing costs like $150. Like that was a lot of money. And my parents were like, we're getting this for you and you better take care of it. Now I'm like, well, let's just get rid of it.
Now it's just collecting dust.
Now it's collecting rust or I don't know, something whatever's in the garage. But there is something to be said with this idea of if you're focusing on something like your marriage, what are you willing to sacrifice? I know a lot of guys that like to go out and they like to hit golf balls. I know a lot of gals that like to go out and have their girls' night and they like to have their, drinks with friends or fill in the blank of whatever it is. Guys, I know it's nice to go and play the video games every once in a while. The video games. I sound like such an old man. I know. But here's the thing. Would you rather cut the time with the games and grow your marriage and have a deeper relationship? Or would you rather continue to get in that rut over and over of kind of mindlessness? And I say that with love because honestly, that's where I was for a while too. It drove you nuts, didn't it? Oh
yeah. We've had many conversations about it for sure.
I like how she calls them conversations. We had many conversations about you playing video games, Nathan. In fact, you'd be proud of me. Well, maybe not yet, but like I have a video game controller that I've had for the computer for a while, and it's sitting. I can almost see it within eye shot right now. And I was like, okay, like maybe I need to take that and I need to like give it to the neighbor kid or something. I don't know.
Actually get rid of it.
Get rid of it. But there is something to be said about getting rid of things though. Yeah. In fact, early on in our marriage, do you remember the first like thing you fought me over when it came to like personal growth? Because I got really into personal growth and development. I was like, okay, we're going to change everything. Like we're going to grow and we're going to be super focused. We're going to read books and we're going to cut all the things out that we don't need to be doing. Do you remember the thing that I said that we were going to cut out? And you fought me a lot. It's TV.
Oh, so I was going to say movies, but then I was like TV.
No, remember I got rid of our TV? Yeah, I got rid of all the TVs in our house.
I don't know.
And you were not happy with me. We ended up getting a TV again.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that. I mean, I feel like I should remember that. But
yeah, you fought with me because you're like, but there's so many Netflix movies I can watch now that I'm not in school.
Yeah, I think I finally was able to watch TV, and then the TV was going to be on because I never really watched TV before that, so I wasn't like, oh, I got these shows or whatever.
This happens, by the way, every single time.
Every
single time that Willow is able to do something, I'm like, well, let's no longer do this.
I know. I'm okay. Like, ready to watch a movie.
We had a wine subscription for the longest time, and so we have like all this wine in our wine.
Oh yeah, the wine
fridge.
too.
Yeah, and every single time where she's coming off of pregnancy and like or being done with like breastfeeding, I'm like, you know what? I think we should just stop drinking. Period. She's like. What are you talking about? Like, I can now have a glass of wine. This isn't fair. Yeah, I forgot to tell you that I was thinking maybe in a month or so that we should probably not drink anymore.
Yeah.
Ever.
Oh man.
Now everyone's going to think that we booze it down or something.
Yeah, no, not at all.
No, not at all. The occasional drink every now and then. It's kind of nice just to sit on the patio and just kind of enjoy each other's company. But all that to say, like in your lives as a married couple, by the way, if you're not watching this with your spouse or listening to the spouse, what's wrong with you? Go get them.
Go get them.
Go get them. Hit them over the head. Bring them in. Entice them with something. I don't know, make ice cream and chocolate chip cookies. Cream. Yeah, someone did that tonight.
Yes.
By the way, kudos to ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT this afternoon. I was like, give me the best chocolate chip cookie recipe. And it spit out a chocolate chip cookie recipe and I made it.
Yeah, I know. And before we started this, I was like, I can't believe you actually followed through on that ChatGPT recipe because I would not have wasted those good ingredients on a recipe that... Who knows?
Who knows? Who would have thought that that something that doesn't have taste buds could make something so delicious?
Creepy.
Super creepy. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. We also were going to get a dog this week. 2 dogs.
Oh, yeah, that happened too. Yeah. That was a big decision, actually. And that was a sacrifice.
Painful. That was super painful because we were sitting on the couch and we told everyone that we lost our dog a little bit over a month ago.
Yeah.
Had to put her down. And so I started following the Sheba country, which is down in Bandon, Oregon, which is where we got our pup last time. And so they have all these pups and they have, what do they call them? Misfits, which kills you.
It kills me. The name Misfits kills me because the reason what they are they're just the last one of the litter.
Yeah.
That haven't been purchased yet.
They haven't been picked.
It's not like they're defective. Like it just makes me feel like there's something wrong with them. They're like, oh, the Misfits. Like, oh, the poor little guys. Like,
you know why they do that though, right? So people like you want to buy them.
Well, I suckered in.
She's totally suckered in.
We didn't buy them.
We didn't buy them. We were close though because I saw them post on Facebook and I messaged them or I wrote. I was like, "Hey, are these still available?" And yes, we're coming up Wednesday. And I was like, "Oh, Wednesday," which was like 2 days away.
Yeah, we had just a quick turnaround to make the decision, and then it was just not good timing. So.
But it comes back to what we're talking about is when you're making decisions, are those decisions moving towards what you want? Are they sacrificial? Because as we started to think about what we were creating personally as our family, what we're creating as the brand for More Than Before of kind of doing the podcast and this kind of thing, we had to ask ourselves, not is it wise necessarily, but does that give us the space and the vision for where we want to go?
Right, exactly.
Unfortunately, potty training 2 dogs
right now is not the thing.
Or putting them in a fence that doesn't really fence.
That has a hole? No. Yeah. No, I mean, it's not like, this is just an example of a decision to talk through together because we want our kids to be able to have chores and be around pets and be around animals. So many good things, right? But it ultimately came down to right now, where does our focus need to be?
Yeah.
So.
And it's tough for us and for you and your spouse, who knows what you're going through right now. Yeah. There are things that you need to be focused on. And that's one of the things that we've noticed as a married couple is that if you're not both focused in the same direction, it's really easy to get off track. It's easy for one person to wander off or both of you to wander off the path. And then you figure out, well, what happened?
Right.
I don't know what happened. I thought we were so happy, and now all of a sudden, you're not happy. And now you have 5 dogs.
Well, now you're doing 2 different things instead of doing it together. It's just 2 different things, and it's hard to maintain that.
Yeah, it's true. One of the things that truly is wonderful about the time that we get to have for the podcast is to be able to sit down, spend some time with you, get real of kind of what's going on with our life. It was funny because when we were getting on, we were trying to figure out what we were going to talk about. I didn't really know what we were going to talk about. Willow was not excited by the fact that we didn't know what we were going to be talking about. And I said, you know what? Let's just talk about things. And we talked about a lot of things.
We talked about it.
And we talked about and around about we went. But I enjoyed our time. Did you enjoy it?
I did. And hopefully you guys did too.
And if you didn't, well, leave us a comment.
Yeah, feedback is feedback. It's good.
Any feedback is good. But we really do appreciate you guys listening to the podcast. We know that tonight we kind of rabbled on and whatnot, but yeah, we just love you guys, and we hope you guys continue to grow together. So until next time, remember to be more,
and experience more
together.